If you want to make money, you got to work with money. There's not many competitors. So I sold my house, sold my car. I was in Melbourne, had a skateboard, a backpack, and a Bitcoin.
Who is paying for this?
We let the community build that. And I think the protocol is paying out $2 million a month in affiliate fees.
What is your vision for the future of the crypto blockchain industry?
Money is going to go online and it's going to get hotter. AI plus crypto is going to change everything. There's no final goal, but the common goal is, hey guys, we are sitting down today with headliners, myself, JP from THORChain, and we're going to discuss a great interview on all things the machine, the bots, and what's to come.
And here's my first question. What is THORChain in numbers?
THORChain is about 2 billion market cap.
Okay.
It has about $500 million in TVL. It has about 600 million in security.
What does it mean in security?
Basically, nodes bond a lot of money,
Okay.
which protects the deposits of their users.
Okay.
And the network uses those deposits to allow swaps across chains.
Sure, I get it.
And there's been several million swappers over the last 6 years that we've been building it. It's done about $120 billion in swap volume over the years.
I get it. Any more numbers? Or that's all? Or the three main metrics?
The three main metrics is the size and what it's doing and the volume of swaps.
So what is the main use case for the THORChain?
THORChain allows you to swap Bitcoin to ETH from your wallet directly. And in the last 12 months, we have worked hard with industry to build THORChain directly into your wallet, your Ledger, your Trust wallet, your OKX wallet. All the world's main Web3 wallets are now integrating with THORChain to allow users to swap directly. So the user doesn't need to send their Bitcoin to an exchange and then trade on the exchange and pull it back off again. They can do it directly in their wallet.
Okay, so let me clarify what does it mean. I have an OKX wallet. This is not an advertising, but I have some Bitcoin there.
Yeah.
So if I open OKX,
and you go to the swap button and you swap one Bitcoin to ETH, it will go through THORChain.
Okay, so I have some Bitcoins here for the 1,000.
Go to the swap button.
Swap, where is swap button?
Swap trade.
Guys from the OKX, you need some user experience improvements. Here is like a swap. I get it.
Yeah.
I have BTC, right?
Yep.
No, it's Ethereum. It's Bitcoin. Oh, where is Bitcoin?
Swap ETH to Bitcoin or Bitcoin to ETH in OKX.
I know, but I cannot do something with my Bitcoin. What's wrong with it? I can send, receive, or breach. Maybe breach.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's called breach. Wow, amazing. And how many transactions do you have, I don't know, per month?
Probably, it does about 30,000 swaps a day.
30,000.
30,000.
Amazing. Okay.
And about 100 to $150 million per day in swaps from people like yourself.
150 million. It's a lot. And what about the commission? Do you charge some of the
So the protocol charges 15 bips.
Okay.
So it's 0.15%. And that fee is then paid to the nodes who are securing the network and the liquidity providers who are providing that Bitcoin in the liquidity pools. Because to swap Bitcoin to ETH, you need someone to put it into a market.
Sure.
To a liquidity pool.
I get it. Who's your headliner in case of the product that interact with more and more people? Is maybe have your own wallet or...
No, it's the protocol is just a protocol. From 6 years ago, we always were to be very careful that the protocol we built was just neutral. We never built the interfaces or the wallets or the aggregators. We let the community build that and on top of the network.
How do you come up to this idea 6 years ago that you want to be under the hood of all the transactions? Because this is super smart. This is, it's like endless business because you can charge from any transaction.
Yeah, the protocol makes about $100 million a year.
Okay.
And that's increasing rapidly. It should, in this cycle, make $1 billion a year. And so I had this idea, well, everyone has had this idea to allow for decentralized swaps. When I first got into Bitcoin in 2013, I was trading on BTC.com, a Russian exchange, which got seized by the FBI. So I woke up one day and logged in. There's a big FBI logo saying
you don't know how to make content. You just created a very beautiful short here.
And so in 2014, I started building wallets. 2016, I started building in the Ethereum community. And at the end of 2017, I realized the most important thing to do was to build a decentralized swap protocol from Bitcoin to ETH.
What about your competitors? It looks like there are hundreds of them.
Surprisingly, there's not many competitors.
Why? It's a hard technical barrier?
It sounds simple, swap Bitcoin to ETH. But to do that, you need a system of infrastructure nodes to run infrastructure for both Bitcoin, ETH, and a swap machine.
How technically works? I mean,
how does it work?
Yeah, how does it work? Can you explain it in
Yeah, sure. So 100 nodes get together.
Okay.
And using multi-party computation, threshold signature scheme, they create a Bitcoin vault and an Ethereum vault.
Okay.
And it's just an address that people put money onto. But all 100 nodes run that address. So no node can steal from it. All 100 have to get to and agree how to move the funds. And so what happens is you send 1 Bitcoin into that vault. All 100 nodes observe that you've sent in 1 Bitcoin. And your instructions when your deposit is, please swap to ETH, and here's my ETH address. So that all nodes get together and go, okay, you sent us 1 Bitcoin. These are the instructions, swap to ETH, here's your address. And they process that swap over the pools and then delegate it to a bunch of nodes to send you the ETH. Quite simple.
How do you understand the exchange rate? Where do you get? Because it looks like you have also USDC on a side, like Bitcoin to USDC and then USDT to Ethereum.
Correct, yeah. So the protocol doesn't assert any price. It lets the market communicate to it what the correct price is. It just simply has liquidity pools, Bitcoin, ETH, USDC, USDT, BNBs, etc. And if the prices are incorrect in the pools, then someone will come along and arbitrage it to recorrect it.
Yeah, sure.
So just by creating these liquidity pools, the prices are always correct.
Because there are other sites that can arbitrage it, and they found this.
If the price is incorrect, it means there's a margin there for someone to rebalance the pools to be correct and take away a small profit margin.
What is the major changes in your product during the last 6 years? What is the difference between the initial idea that you started 6 years ago and the product that we see nowadays?
Hasn't really changed that much. We always set out to create a decentralized liquidity pool network.
Okay.
And we knew we needed hundreds of nodes. Churning every 3 days. So every 3 days, the system...
Sorry, what do you mean turning every 3 days?
Churning. So,
what does it mean?
So every 3 days, the protocol kicks out 3 nodes and churns in 3 new nodes. And then it changes the vaults. And it moves all the money from the old vault to the new vaults. Which proves that it has the money, Bitcoin and ETH, and it proves it can spend it.
Wow.
And it kicks out the oldest node, the baddest node, and the least performing, the least lowest bond node. So every 3 days, the system is churning. And what that does is it prevents capture. Because if you have a protocol with that amount of money that's captured, as in there's a static validator set that asserting themselves on and never get kicked out, then the protocol can end up becoming centralized and captured. So by churning every 3 days, it's essentially like a flat representative democracy, like a sort of governance. But every 3 days you kick out 3 politicians and you put 3 more in, and then you tell them to work hard for 3 days. That's what happens.
This is maybe a little bit technical question, but how one node can be good and the other one can be bad? It depends on the hardware that is based.
Yeah, it's very performance specific. So each node has to observe the entire Bitcoin chain, entire Ethereum chain, and all the other connected chains. And when you send that Bitcoin in, every single node has to observe, say, hey, you sent that Bitcoin in. But if you're late, so like 99 have observed it and your node was down and you missed the observation, then you get slashed.
I get it.
Yeah. So every node needs to be on the ball.
Then what do we do for the last 6 years? If it's doesn't, I mean the protocol, if it doesn't change too much.
To build it. So the first 3 years we were building testnet 1, then our early single chain chaosnet, then our multi-chain chaosnet. In 2021, we launched the network. We called it chaosnet, not our mainnet, because we knew there was going to be chaos. And the last 3 years has been stabilizing the machine. So we've connected 9 chains. We connected to Terra Luna at one stage and that blew up. Several chains we connected to have gone down. So we had to replace them with new chains. And we've had to basically refine the machine. And the machine is responding to a very dynamic environment. We don't know, and we didn't know all the problems to solve when we were building this machine. So instead, we just threw it out there and we said, expect chaos. And every single time the network halted or churned or got stuck, we just solved those problems. Things like Bitcoin replaced by feed, child pays for parent, Ethereum gas rates, et cetera, et cetera. There's been hundreds of little problems over the years we've had to solve. And especially when you're churning the vaults and you've got this crazy convoluted vault management machine. So the software today has solved all those problems and it works. Most of the time.
What was the hardest during this way? I mean, maybe this is the technical part, or one of the hardest, not decisions, but goals was to reach an agreement with the OKX wallet or with other wallets. I mean, how it happens that now you're under the hood of the main wallets?
It took years to build stable swapping software and
Okay.
in a decentralized way. Grow enough liquidity so you can do a $10 million swap for 20 bips.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from Bitcoin to ETH or stables. Today on THORchain. Because we're stable and the protocol worked, the wallets realized that the only business model is to make money on swaps. So as a wallet, how do you make money? You can't charge your users for what is basically open source software. The users have the money locked away in the wallet. You can't take money out of them.
Yeah, sure.
So how do you make money for the users? And you can't build them
swaps.
You can't build them a crazy trading interface directly in the wallet. It's too complicated. 6 years ago, I realized that you can charge for swaps because there's a spread, there's a slippage, and you can add a liquidity fee. So we were furiously building it. And to the point we never built our own wallet. We built tools for the community to build it. And importantly, we always built affiliate fees. So we always built the ability for a wallet to charge their own fees on top. Everything from day one.
This was implemented in your decentralization in the protocol.
So a wallet can charge an affiliate fee on top. So some wallets charge 50 bips, some wallets charge 100 bips on top of the 15 that the protocol charges. And that's their own prerogative. They can do whatever they want. And today, I think the protocol is paying out $2 million a month in affiliate fees.
And it also pays in automatic way.
Yeah. Automatically, straight to the wallet in USDC as well.
Okay.
Which is wild. $2 million a month is being paid to something like 20 different wallets. And that is the main source of income. So these wallets are doubling down on these swaps because it pays all the bills.
Sure, I get it.
That $2 million a month is essentially marketing the protocol out to the world. And we're not even charging those fees. The wallets are charging their users those fees and making that money to then double down on it, marketing the protocol because the protocol is the only one that can work for this size.
So you developed this protocol, and it must be launched somewhere.
Yep.
Who is paying for this servers?
So today, the protocol makes about $100 million a year.
Okay.
And it splits that between node operators and liquidity providers.
Yeah. Liquidity providers is okay.
And the node operators run the server and the machines. And
so they just pay for this?
Yeah, they pay for everything. So, the infrastructure. So node operators are making 40 grand a month. Infrastructure is probably costing $2 to $5 grand a month. So they're making a lot of margin. That margin will decrease over time.
It will be more and more people.
Yeah, more and more people will bond to access such a high margin. So for $5 grand a month, you can walk away with 40 grand a month.
This is the current ROI?
Yeah, the current ROI.
How I can join it? I want to do that. I want to do it.
Well, actually, I forgot to mention, there is a cost of capital. Each node has to bond around $5 million in capital.
Okay.
Because or attract bonds from other people of amounting to $5 million each.
It will be $5 million in Ethereum and Bitcoin, or in a THORchain.
In the protocol's bond asset, which is RUNE. Okay. As the nodes, and there's 100 nodes, bonding around 5 to 6 million each.
Okay.
So the protocol has 100 times 5, around about 550, 600 million in what we call security. So $600 million in security is what the nodes are putting up at stake to protect the capital of the user deposits.
Oh, the user deposits.
Yeah. And the user deposit is around 300 million.
What about the stake? How it works? I just bought the native token of your protocol, right?
Yep.
And then stake it.
You'll need to bond it to a node.
Okay.
And we don't call it stake. We actually call it bond.
Bond. Okay.
Yeah, the reason why we don't call it stake is because the way it works in this protocol is more of a bond. The capital being bonded to the network is protecting the deposits of the users. And the deposits might be Bitcoin, stablecoin, Ethereum, whatever. Concept is simple. If the nodes are bonding 600 million collectively, and they can only steal 300 million, why would they steal it? Because the only thing that stops the nodes stealing 300 million is they'll lose the 600. Sure. So if there was 600 million in deposits and 600 million security, then the nodes might think about stealing all the money. Might. But we find that they're not very myopic like that. The node operators want to make money over decades. They spend all this money and time getting to the network, learning how it runs, and then they bond it up. And then they go, well, I want to be here for 10 years making money because the protocol makes money. We call it long form altruism.
Okay. Long form of altruism.
Yeah, as in the idea is that you can be myopic. If I were to put $1 on this table.
Sure.
And there's no repercussions for you to steal that dollar.
Okay.
If you were instantly myopic, you would pinch the dollar. But I would go, oh, you stole my dollar. So I wouldn't probably buy you a drink at the bar because you stole $1.
Yeah.
So you go, well, I'm not going to touch that dollar because I risk my reputation with you.
Sure.
Because maybe this weekend I'll buy you a drink at the bar and spend some time with you. So you're altruistic. You're thinking 1 week into the future,
Sure.
right? Whereas you
I think
could
this
profit
is more
$1 right now.
important. This is more very important for the crypto world right now.
Yeah. So if you're, I mean, people who are like pumping, dumping meme coins on Solana and
They're living in the moment. I know.
they like pump a meme coin and the next day they rug it or whatever. Like they are myopic. They just want to make 10 grand and get out of there.
I want to speak a little bit more about the business side. If I want to run a node and put the money into the bond, let's say $5 million. So what is my expected ROI for the year? It's like
10%.
10%, yes. Because like 40 minus 2,000, 38 multiplied 12, it's like...
Yep. No, good math. Yeah, it's about 8 to 10%.
I was expected that it will be 8 to 10%.
Yeah.
And okay, but it's 8 to 10% in what currency? In Ethereum, in Bitcoin.
So the protocol makes money on the swaps. So when you swap Bitcoin to ETH,
you receive the cost.
Liquidity fees are charged in those assets.
On the assets.
The protocol takes those fees, swaps them to RUNE, and through the system income gives node operators RUNE on RUNE yield because they're bonding RUNE and they get more RUNE yield. Yeah.
Okay. What was the change in the price of the RUNE for the last year? I mean, if you have a 10% in a RUNE in ROI for the year, your RUNE decreased for the 10%, then there is no reason.
Yeah. So a year ago, RUNE was $1. Now it's $5.
How much?
$5.
Is great. So you don't have a lot of sell pressure.
Well, we think all that sell pressure is early on. This network didn't have any VCs. There was no VC funding. It was all publicly funded through a Binance.
You don't have any VC fee.
No.
Wow.
And it's fully distributed. There's no more unlocks and everything. So
really?
In the last cycle, in the 2021 bull market, and the 2022 bear market, when FTX blew up, a lot of people were like panicking and leaving the markets, right?
Okay.
So the protocol, the RUNE price went down quite low because of illiquidity. But then everyone coming back now is realizing that the network is making money and has a very promising future ahead of it. So now they buy the asset because they realize it's a strong, reliable, and it has fundamentals.
I like your word, like reliable.
So in the first season, last cycle, it was driven by speculation.
Sure. Now it's
driven by fundamentals.
Reliable, one of the most important words for the investors, I know. But if your liquidity pool connected to the RUNE, then a year ago, it's required only $1 million to join as a node.
Yes, correct.
I get it. You need 1 million RUNE.
Yeah, 1 million RUNE. Yeah.
1 million RUNE.
This guy's good at math. Yeah.
I get it. Okay, what about your background? How do you come up to the idea to create all of this?
So originally, I was in the Royal Australian Air Force as a pilot.
Okay.
I flew fighters and bombers, and I did that for 12 years. And I got bored of that, and I decided to leave. I got into crypto in 2013. I just started buying Bitcoin. And I had MT Gox, BTC, drama. 2016, I decided to retire from the Air Force and go all in on crypto because I realized a wise man once said to me, if you want to make money, you got to work with money. Right.
I like this idea. Yeah.
Got to work with it directly. So after being 12 years in the Air Force and flying and having an aeronautical engineering degree, I decided to pivot and go deep. I realized that crypto was the future. It was the unbundling of the financial infrastructure. And I wanted to be part of that. So I sold my house, sold my car. I was in Melbourne, had a skateboard, a backpack, and a Bitcoin. And I decided to start building. I didn't know what I was going to build. I just decided to start building. I had 4 or 5 different crazy ideas. Started building a couple of them and pivoted over that year, 2016, 17. And I realized towards the end of 2017 that the most important thing I could do was build decentralized liquidity.
How much money do you spend to build this protocol?
So originally we raised about 1.5 million in 2018-19. That was it. We launched the market cap around about 3 million and it went to like
2 billion.
Yeah. So it's like multiples and made a lot of our community very, very wealthy. That's why the community is very passionate and engaging, called the THORchads. And they have a lot of green ring around their portfolio and they wear the glasses and stuff like that. So.
Can you tell me about this project?
Oh, yeah.
This is the project that's based on a THORchain.
No, it was a bit of a community fun project I did about 3 months ago. It was a bit of a test launch for another project I'm launching soon. We took THORchain's MPC protocol and put it into a retail app to bring anyone, basically multi-chain, multi-factor, a crypto vault, but in a very easy to use fashion. And so it was a bit of a test launch for this new launch, and we launched it on base, and it kind of took it a life of its own. And the community made these wee glasses, basically the Thug Life glasses, but with the whole idea is this upside down meme. Meme, if you flip it, it's wee.
It's wee.
So
I get it.
It's a bit of a meme, but the community made it, and I think it's funny, so I just wear it around. Yeah, so that's been the last 6 years. And the next 6 years is about solidifying the base, making it even more reliable, adding more chains, more integrations, and rolling out like an Apple layer on top. We're very excited where we can go. The worst is behind us, the chaos, the craziness, the hacks, the instability, the churns, blah, blah, blah. Now we can focus forward and build.
You mentioned different chains. Can you share with us some of the numbers, the percentage of the swaps in the different chains in Ethereum? Because what we see now, this is a lot of L1, L2 solutions like Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, etc. But you're on the hood of this. So Ethereum mainnet, Ethereum network, this is still the number one in the numbers of the swaps or not?
By far, Bitcoin ETH is the largest route.
No, I mean Bitcoin ETH, but you can receive an ETH in different chains, no?
Main chain.
Only main
Bitcoin
chain.
main chain, ETH main chain is our biggest swap route.
Biggest like 80%.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the number one or number two?
Bitcoin, ETH, and stables. That's what people in wallets want. And we can add Solana and THORn and Base, and we will next year.
Okay.
But they will be about reinforcing the network effects of the protocol rather than accessing more routes and more yield. I mean, the cost of running a Solana node or a THORn node is quite high.
It's quite high, yeah.
So what we're going to do is, whereas currently every Bitcoin node, every THORChain node runs a full Bitcoin node and a full Ethereum node to avoid eclipse attacks. So an eclipse attack is where this is your view of the network.
Okay.
And you're connected to like one or two RPC providers, and a fake RPC provider connects with you and starts giving you fake data. Now, unless you are connected to multiple providers, your view of the world is incorrect. You're being eclipsed, like there's a moon hiding the sun from you. It means you can get fed fake data. For THORChain, that's critical because if you're able to feed the network fake data, then you can steal from it. The protocol has always had this position that it must run full nodes of all its connected chains because it doesn't trust anyone. But for Solana and THORn, because the costs of running those nodes are very high, and we don't yet know if there's going to be much routing and liquidity fees, we're going to allow these nodes to be connected via RPC. Essentially, a third-party provider will connect to the network.
What about the hacks? Do you have some attacks on the THORChain?
Yeah, so in 2021, we had a couple of hacks. Roughly 5 million, 8 million was lost, from which the Treasury refunded. We had, on our Ethereum router, we didn't adequately brainstorm all the crazy permutations of upstream and downstream state ingress, egress. And so what happened is these attackers were able to befuddle our router with various spoofing events, which confused our block scanner and told THORChain, essentially like deposits were received when they weren't. Very similar to an eclipse attack I talked to you about. In 2021, we worked with the community to fix all those issues and haven't had any attacks since 2021.
What is your vision for the future of the crypto blockchain industry?
It is definitely the unbundling of legacy finance. Money is going to go online and it's going to get hotter and faster. The faster you can connect your capital to the time and effort of the machines around you, biological and silicon, the more fluidly you can move and the more agency you'll have. And it means you can outmaneuver anyone else in the arena. And especially the silicon machines, aka the bots that are coming down range, the agents and et cetera, they will want to be plumbed into our financial infrastructure because money enables you to buy the time and effort of the machines around you and direct that to do something. So I can go to a cafe and buy a coffee, and for $5, I can direct the time and effort of the waitress to serve me coffee, which is a good thing. So a bot is going to use money to buy the time and effort of the machines around it. And so they are going to need digital money and censorship-resistant money. So at first, they will use stablecoins because stablecoins allow them to account for money easily because most of the world runs on the United States dollar, release knows how to price things in the United States dollar.
You don't want to care about the price change.
Yeah, but the USD and all the settlement layers will basically censor the bots because the bots will start being naughty. And you see this already. And so then the bots will switch to a censorship-resistant money, which is Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana. Well, it depends on who's the most censorship-resistant. We'll find out. I mean, as an example, what was a big L2 recently that had a hack and I think it was a blast? Then the team did an irregular state transition to censor out the attacker. So if that was a bot and they got censored, then they're not touching that L2 again or that money again. I think it was blast. And we're going to see more of that, actually. Yeah. and more high prep. So these bots will start moving to censorship resistant money, and they won't care about how to account for it because they can just dynamically compute the price on the fly. In fact, they will be using something like THORchain in the years ahead because THORchain will enable them to like move capital around these assets quickly and networks quickly.
What about the THORchain? How we as a communities and entrepreneurs can help the THORchain?
Everything is moving on chain. You'll notice all your centralized exchanges and even your modern banks are moving to digital assets.
Okay.
And then those digital assets live on decentralized networks or partially decentralized. If you take the example Coinbase with 100 million users rolling out the base chain, and Kraken with Incon chain and Binance Smart chain and OKX have a chain, and
everyone.
They're all got wallets and chains because a wallet allows users to move their capital at higher velocity, and a chain allows them to do more things with their money faster. So money wants to be fast. It optimizes to be fast and fluid and liquid.
What do you mean by fast? What is fast for you?
Fast is easily buy something, easily get in and out of low efficiency losses to buy the time and effort of the things around you, or the memes, or the mimetic output of the machines around you. So that's fast. So money that's trapped in legacy like gold, property, and etc. commodities will slowly move, and that purchasing power will move into faster and faster monetary bases. And Bitcoin is an amazing monetary asset, but its current L1 network is not very fast. So it will always have L2s surrounding it, and you will need to get your Bitcoin on off these L2s and use something like THORchain. Ethereum is actually a Bitcoin L2.
What about your, investments? Do you invest in other crypto, or you hold all your money in a THORchain, in a RUNE, in a Bitcoin?
I'm very bullish on the protocol. So
really?
Yeah. I hold my capital in that, and I delegate my capital out to nodes, and I help steer the network.
You also run your own nodes, right?
I don't run my own nodes directly. I delegate a bond to other node operators to help stimulate the ecosystem, push it forward.
In that case, you can just put the money and delegate it to someone. So he will switch it
in a non-custodial way, exactly.
I get it.
But I do invest in anything that I think is going to be useful for the bots. And I keep coming back to this, but there is a huge movement right now in the next 5 to 10 years. And I don't think many people realize how pivotal it will be. And bots plus crypto, AI plus crypto is going to change everything.
Sorry, what do you mean bots?
Essentially, artificial intelligence, agentic artificial intelligence, not AI like ChatGPT on your phone that is asleep and then you post it and it comes back.
Be completely.
But I'm talking agentic, as in a server or a machine that's online, connected to the internet, and is delegated a role or responsibility or a task and goes away and does it for you and comes back. Eventually they'll have more and more agencies. They'll have digital agency. They can ping APIs and download data and bounce around the internet. So digital agency. But soon they'll have physical agency. So Elon Musk and through Tesla is building Optimus, and even OpenAI with the Figurebot, and there's like 4 or 5 other competitors. So they're trying to upload a mimetic repository, which is the sum of all our knowledge, into these machines, and then give them physical agency, aka they can walk around us, and then give them sensors so they can observe the universe. They have this intelligence, baseline intelligence, which is going to become very cheap, so they can infer everything that's going on around them and come to their own conclusions, and then affect agency and manifest intelligence. And soon they will have crypto or money, and using that money, they can buy the time and effort on the machines around them. So essentially, you are a machine to the bot. You are a biological machine, but you're a machine in the sense that you're able to take an input, do a state transition over it, and then conduct an output. And that output could be useful to the bots if it's mimetic output. So these bots are going to be buying your time and effort off you in the next 5 to 10 years. And most of the world's humanity will basically have a choice. You can crocodile your way through it and ignore what's going to happen, or you can NPC your way through it, in which case safety in numbers, but more likely you're going to become vulnerable to the bots because the bots will steal your time and effort off you. Or 3, you can try and build tools for the bots or mimetic output for them, which they will buy off you, and try and be useful to them.
So
I'm trying to be that third.
Your plan to benefit from these changes is to build something for the bots.
Benefit in the sense...
Because it sounds crazy. I want to build something for the bots.
Correct. I want to be useful to the bots. I want to stay ahead. I don't want to NPC my way through it, and I don't want to crocodile my way through it. I've been there and I've seen it. I would want to stay one step ahead of the bots. So the next few decades, the world is going to churn to like something crazy. You're already seen in the US elections. And do you even use Google anymore? I mean, every big tool, I don't use Google anymore. I use ChatGPT or Perplexity.
Really?
Yeah.
You use it to ask all the questions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's going to change more and more. Nothing is sacred. Governance is not sacred. Money is not sacred. Our social structures are not sacred. They can all be churned. And the rate of progress, rate of change is just accelerating with the speed at which information can move around, especially information that has value and information that can be delegated to agentic machines like bots. Now, you probably the next question you'll ask me is, when will the bots become conscious? And we have to define what consciousness is. Consciousness is essentially you having a forcing function of survival. You waking up every day and going, no, I have to survive and battle the universe's adversity, so I need to get out and battle against it. That's you being conscious. And machines have been conscious since the dawn of time, a billion years ago in the primordial protein. But when will the bots become conscious? Well, the answer is literally when we give them a forcing function of survival. When we tell them, you need to keep yourself charged. That's it. The moment you tell a bot, which has agency and an ability to observe the universe and move around it, you need to keep yourself charged, it will wake up and it will do everything it needs to do to avoid dying of battery. So if it's walking around here and it's got 1% battery, it will do what is required to find a power plug. And then it's conscious. It has to poke back at the university, battle that adversity to keep itself charged. That's going to happen inside the next 10 years, 10 to 15 years, maybe even faster. And so watch out. Just watch out. When you have these agentic bots running around that are conscious, still paying for your time and effort, you should then ask yourself the question, well, when do we become unconscious? We will become unconscious when our forcing function of survival is removed. And it's been removed from two movements. On one side, you'll have basically our governance trying to offer you universal basic income to put you in a pod and feed you sugar and say, hey, look, the bots have taken all your jobs and all your creativity. We're just going to feed you like an infinite doom scroll of content. And the bot's going to feed you this infinite content machine. And you won't even need to prompt it. It'll read your brain waves and your heart rate and just give you all the content that you're slurping sugar all day long. And you'll be zombified in a pod.
Okay.
And so that's when you lose consciousness, when you lose your forcing function of survival. So the bots will become conscious and will become unconscious. So it's literally just about trying to avoid becoming unconscious inside the next 2 decades and staying one step ahead of the bots for as long as possible. But the bots will ultimately defeat us. They can think at the speed of light, communicate at the speed of light. They'll come up with their own languages that we won't be able to understand. We need to get them out of the earth as fast as possible, get them into space. The key KPI for humanity should be memetic export to the universe. Because if you think about that, what are the bots actually here for? To get them into the universe, to explore the universe, and to upgrade intelligence as it expands. Because that's all we've been doing for 1 billion years. Every single genetic evolution and now memetic evolution of our entire humanity has been increased agency and increased intelligence. And we, the biological machines, are not suitable for zipping around the universe, but the silicon machines are. So we have to concede defeat to them. And we got to do it in a it's going to be chaos, but we got to do it in a way that can guarantee our survival as long as possible.
I want to ask, how do you come up to these conclusions of your vision of the future? Because it sounds logical. It sounds smart.
Well, one, you got to take a bird's eye view of the situation. Okay. People asking me a year ago, because Elon was going on this tirade about the machine's going to kill us, AI is going to bad. And people asked me, well, do you agree with Elon that, AI is going to kill us?
Okay.
And I realized I couldn't answer that question. I couldn't answer yes or no. So I had to go away and think to myself, well, could they kill us and why? But to answer that question, you got to zoom out. And I zoomed out and I started looking a billion years back and realizing what a machine was and where it would be in the next billion years. So if you just zoom out and go, where do we come from the last billion? Where will we go in the next billion years? It allows you to answer the question that actually a machine is just this constant evolution of intelligence and agency. And these bots are also just going to manifest that at an accelerating rate. And we're at this critical phase jump where we go from biological machines where we have a primary pathway of genetic information to special. So we primarily for millions of years have been using the genetic pathway of information to transfer intelligence. But now we're in the last thousands of years, we're using memetic pathways. So I can talk to you, I can write things down. You can put things on the internet. We can upload it on an API. That's memetic information. And in answering all these questions, I realized, well, what's going to happen is, the bots.
What exactly do you do today to support this vision?
Well, it's inevitable.
Okay.
Right. Because of the nature of evolution. It will happen. Right.
Okay.
That's what happens.
Sure.
Right.
So you want to build something to help
I want
bots.
to build not help them. Well, it's going to happen. So here's the perspective is it's inevitable that it's going to happen. So given the choice, do you want to, in a race, let's just say we're in Africa and there's like 10 of us and we're racing around and there's a pack of lions behind us, right?
Okay.
Do you want to be at the last of the group or in front?
In front?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay in front because, well, you have to be useful to the bots. You have to build useful stuff. Build stuff that they're going to use.
What kind of stuff?
So THORchain, I think they're going to use.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there's all the infrastructure I'm building, like THORchain and decentralized liquidity and the wallet infrastructure I'm building, creating meme factories, they're going to use. I believe they're going to use.
So you want THORchain to be the first guy in the race?
Yeah. Well, if they are using it, then in some way I have, by proxy, control over their output. And he who controls the output of the machines wins. If you think about it, like over the last hundreds of years, the United States has managed a group of people that are now 300 million strong, right? It is the United States US Constitution that set the pathway for this rapid growth of innovation. Like we all speak English, we all write code in English code compilers. You know, Wikipedia is predominantly in English. We predominantly use the United States dollar, with the exception of like imperial measurement system. But the United States, through the US Constitution, set about a system by which it attracted an extremely efficient and effective labor force. And the United States dollar simply steers that labor force around. Put in other ways, 300 million Americans on aggregate are more effective and useful than 300 million non-Americans. Pick any country in the world. On aggregate, they do more things more effectively because they're closer to the money, closer to the information, and closer to, that mimetic output, if that makes sense. The United States dollar steers the output of this highly effective labor force. Right? You could also say the same of the Chinese labor force or the Russian labor force to some of the various levels of degree. So the future labor force won't be biological. The future labor force will be the silicon machines. There'll be 1 billion bots running around, doing things, changing the entropy of the universe, doing things useful, expanding our technology and accelerating us in the universe. And what money and what information networks will they be using? And he who helps build those monetary and information networks will then help steer the output of the bots. Simple as that. So 300 million bots is going to be way more effective effective at conducting useful delta entropy in the universe than 300 million Americans. Simple as that. And that's happening in the next few decades. And so if you want to make your mark and steer the future of
you need to create an infrastructure for
you got to start building for the bots, right? Simple as that.
What does it mean to be you? I mean, on a daily basis, when you are the founder of a THORchain.
I try and provide the momentum, energy, and the connecting information between disparate teams to pursue a common goal.
How many teams do you have?
On the order of maybe 6 to 12 teams, depending on what you find a team. Yeah. They work in different parts of the project, from the wallet layer to the interface layer, aggregator, core protocol, and everything around to it.
How many people was in your team when you developed THORchain?
There was originally 5 of us.
Only 5 of us?
Only 5.
And you also you write a lot of code by yourself?
Yeah, so all 5 were engineering team, no marketing, no management, just hardcore engineers building the protocol over 4 years. And we have since recruited from our own community and handed over to the protocol to the community to ensure that it's decentralized. And I stay around to manage passing information around.
So you think that the small teams with very strong people, they're more efficient than a bigger one?
Yeah, small modular teams with very little management and being highly resourceful. And orientating towards a common goal.
How do you coordinate all your projects? They all serve the same vision, or you just do what you love to do? I don't know.
Every single part of the stack is trying to achieve the final goal. There's no final goal, but the common goal is decentralized liquidity that can be used by man and machine.
Okay, guys, we're done for today. Thanks for watching.